So my first impression drives of the Honda Prelude, the 2026 car. Now, returning viewers or subscribers might remember that I did the film of this car at Goodwood Festival Speed, and about 250,000 of you watched it. Well, I am yet to drive the car, and this is the first time me driving it. So if you were curious to know what the person who filmed that car felt of how it drive, this is what it's like. I'm in the UK. This car's in amazing, like, pearlescent white paint. It's looking stunning. But I'm curious to know how much like this is like a Type R. And straight away, I've got it in its Sport Plus sort of setting. They're auto only, they're hybrid, it'll run on electric too. It feels, initial impressions, feels very, very comfortable. Really, really high quality, even like the mats feel like high quality. It's actually surprisingly quiet. I kind of expected a bit more noise from the engine. This car is quite wide and it's quite flat. That's my kind of feelings initially. And in the UK, this car starts just over sort of £40,000. And for last year, I've been so curious to know how it drives. Well, I get the chance today, and it feels initially to me very much like a Grand Tourer. It is no Type R, although it does have part of the dampers, get my words out, similar to like a Type R. It also has Type R brakes as well. So it's got that. A lot of people were sort of questioning, is it worthy of such an iconic name? Like, I remember these cars from like the old 90s Gran Turismo games, and particularly with Japanese kind of engineering and bits, it's, you know, it's got a lot to kind of live up to, I mean, I feel super relaxed in it at the moment, not even in its comfort setting. This is it, put my foot down. It's definitely augmented noise. What I'm really liking, and this is very similar to like the Civic Type R that I've driven around here, the FL5, they're such a wide track. It means they actually handle really, really well, just because they're so wide. Oh, amazing. Yeah, the noise, I mean, it's not the engine sound, put it that way, but it feels good in the bends. Like, just because it looks like a spaceship, I think the design and the looks of it is really kind of the main part. It looks absolutely gorgeous. For me, there's a racing blue one here, and then there's also this pearlescent white, very new colour that they've kind of brought in from Honda. And I was just chatting to the Honda team. This is a Honda UK press car, essentially. We're on the roads in the UK, which is like a proving ground, essentially. So it tests like the bumps, the handling, and that's hopefully what you can see on camera. And I do apologise for the lighting, because the sun is out and then it's not out and then it's shadow. But ultimately, this is mainly for me to share with you my first impressions of the drive. It feels, because the suspension is so compliant, oh wow, it's a front wheel drive car, because that's synonymous with the Prelude. It's moving around a bit on the corners. It certainly leans a bit. But I feel like the front end is super hooked up. I'm really liking this. Because it's so quiet, it's kind of masking how fast it actually is going. With that hybrid, you get a whole heap of torque. And the fact that you can drive on electric as well, even in its firmest mode, which is what I've got it on, Sport Plus, it's soft. It's soft and firm. I'm liking this. Yeah. Well, I did that sort of walk around a year ago at Goodwood Festival Speed, and it got a lot of views. And to be honest, the reason why I filmed it was because I just really liked the look of it. And I knew there was none, it was the first one Honda had sort of really shown. And I think this is one of the prettiest cars I have ever seen. And it's very subjective. But I've seen the racing blue one, and you can fit these with like a spoiler as well, and you can get some sort of like black pack. But ultimately, most cars are quite, you know, they're one spec, and that means you don't really have to overthink your kind of options. It's really just your paint. I preferred the sleeking lines without the rear spoiler, because because it's not like that is just purely aesthetics. It's not like it's giving you extra downforce or anything. It's yeah, it's not like that. I'm not feeling it as like, obviously it's not rear wheel drive, it's a front wheel drive car. Yeah, I like it. I'm happy driving this. My first impression drives, it reminds me very much like the Civic, which is a platform that it is based on. Because it's hybrid, I'm getting such urgent sort of throttle response when I put my foot down. It's really springing up to life. And on road speeds, it gets up to, well, we have a limit of 55 mile an hour here. And it's doing fine. You know, that's how it's feeling like. If put it this way, it feels like a car that I'd be happy to kind of drive home in. I think what's getting to me is that it's so quiet, so quiet. I don't really recognise how, you know, fast I'm actually going. But we'll have a couple of laps around here to really give you my first impressions and first feel. If you're interested in getting this car, yeah, okay. So I pretty much put my foot flat down, and you can see it's very torque driven. It hasn't got peak power, and it sort of distributes its power between this hybrid electric motor and the engine itself. So you've got that. It weighs under 1,500 kilos. It's about 1,480 kilos. So it's not a heavy car, but it's not like a super light car. Does it feel like a sports car to me? Not really. It feels like a really, really nice Grand Tourer, but it looks as good as like any sort of like Aston Martin DB9 or the old Jaguars, like the E-types. But it's, you know, you can instantly tell it's like a Honda. You know, like the NSX, when they reimagined that, and they put like, you know, it was a hybrid, 3.5 litre V6, I think, in that. It kind of reminds me of that, except this car is just, well, personally, I know £40,000 plus isn't perhaps, well, that's just what you have to pay. It feels like good value just for the looks. I think that's, for me, you've got to want to like the look of it. It looks like a spaceship. It looks super cool. Infotainment, I've lived with the Civic for like 7 days, and I spent a lot of time driving it. It was another Honda press car. This definitely drives better than a normal Civic. The brakes, I'm told, are Type R brakes. So I feel confident on it. Yes. Well, I've actually gone round this exact track in a FL5 Type R, and the Type R is going to pull more. Even though it's a manual, you're going to get up to speed quicker than in this auto. That's me foot flat, up a hill. Yeah, it hasn't got much power. It is lacking power, 100%. But does that mean you have to kind of wring its neck a little bit? But it's got a really good front end, and really sort of like relaxed in the way it steers. Super, super like I feel confident in it. And I feel like because of the way it's sort of like landing on this, you know, softer suspension, you can really feel it moving around from like the rear. I really enjoy it. Really, really enjoy it. There you go. I think if you're just after like a gentle cruise, like a GT cruise, you're gonna love this car. It's not the most, I mean, it's not really making any proper noise. And the power, it's just a shame they couldn't squeeze another sort of like 50 brake. You just think like 250, you know, it doesn't have to be the whole 320 like in the Type R. But they could have got it like at least Golf GTI level. That's what I feel, because this is the same sort of idea in terms of they based it on a Civic. The good thing is because of that torque, at low speeds, which is sort of, when I mean low speeds, I mean sort of below 40, it feels more than quick enough. But as the 0 to 60 time says 8.6 seconds, you can probably guess where that time is lost. It is lost at that last sort of 20 mile an hour. It's not got the pull. It's just not got the pull. But I love turning it in. I love turning it in. I love how wide it is. And I love the way it looks. And I can only give you my honest, raw kind of impressions driving it. No, I could use a little bit of power. You know, it's not going to be the old sort of Japanese tuning. I don't know how it works with these type of cars, you know, the modification scene, that side of things. I don't know what you could do with that, but it would be so good with an extra 50 horsepower. Maybe Honda might think of something in terms of extra Prelude R or something, but as a pleasant car and a pleasant time, you know, car to spend time with, this is great. And if I wanted a car to drive home in on the road, this is a good one. I'll do one more, but I'm hoping this is giving you a good idea, because I just have to be honest, it looks like a sports car. It doesn't have what I would consider a revvy, high revving, you know, obviously the VTECs are just synonymous with Honda. It doesn't have that. You know, Honda, you know, I kindly get the opportunity to drive this car, but I'm always going to give you my honest reflections. You know, I appreciate the money you're putting into this. But if you appreciate it for what it actually is, which is a hybrid, which is a car that can be dead silent, I think this car's better off driving silently. It doesn't even sound like the engine's on when it's on. It really doesn't. It's super comfy. I mean, I've literally put it into its firmest mode. I like some of the little touches, you know, the 19-inch wheels are nice, the pearlescent paint options are nice. The fact that you don't have to really get too confused with options, you just sort of like, this is the car that I want, and go for it. And I think people were certainly like, is it a controversial car, you know, to use this name? Well, you look at what like Ford have done with the Puma, you know, they've done a Gen E now. You know, what Ford have done with the Capri. Certainly with the Capri, it's not really of the Capri of old. If you put this next to an old Prelude of, say, let's just put it this way, of the 90s, this is going to look like a 2026 car. It really, really is. But, you know, you're going to love going in your... See, like, I can struggle to keep up with the Golf GTI Edition 50, who is absolutely on it. You're just not. It hasn't got the... see, once you start pushing this on, it falls on its dampers, and I can see the wheels sort of sliding. It's not gripping, essentially. It's just sliding away. But I have been in some pretty incredible cars. You know, it's not going to be that serious car. It's for perhaps the more mature driver. But I'd be happy to have this car, put it that way. I think it looks amazing. It's more, you know, I'm not like, you know, I've gone around this car 3 times. I could be doing anything else and I'm enjoying it. The wheel is just basically the same as the Civic. The interior and actually the build quality feels really good. And I love the stance. I see it come over and I think, flipping heck, this is like a more expensive car than it is. If I had my wish list would be a bit more power. Yeah, that's it. But that's not what Honda have done. But then Honda could have just said, we're not even going to make a Prelude, so you wouldn't even have the option to buy one. You know, if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. But I'm really curious to know what my audience think, and also like my North American audience, because a lot of people watched that Prelude walk around, which I think was the biggest part of this car. But hey, what is it actually like to drive? Well, you've just experienced, what, 20 minutes of me driving it, and me giving you my thoughts on the feel of the car. And below 40 miles an hour, more than quick enough. Once it revs up and gets on, it doesn't feel like it's got enough punch. It's GT. It's GT cruiser over anything else. That's my kind of summary and conclusion. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll drive this car for a little bit longer, so if you want to know any more information that I haven't been able to share with you, I hope you've been able to put up, because this is like, the GoPro would be bouncing up and down, or the DJI Action 5, because the roads here are designed in the UK, they're designed to have potholes and actually be bumpy. It's purpose built like that. So that's why it's a little bit bumpy. But this car has certainly been the most compliant car I've had around here, which is sort of identifies as a sports car. So that perhaps tells you what you need to know. Yeah, it's just a shame. It's like, it's screaming out for an R. It's screaming out for that. But a good platform, and perhaps to build with it. And there's another there's another Prelude. Right, let me know your thoughts in the comments of the 2026 Honda Prelude. They're my first impressions. What do you think? Would you buy one? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to know anything more, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you out.